Hello Year 3. In today's lesson we're going to be drawing and painting an elephant, but we'll be using different materials, and we'll be using something called the grid method, which helps us to fill our page when we're drawing. So today we're going to need watercolours instead of poster paints. Now watercolours, as the name suggests, use a lot of water with them, and they're a much lighter paint than the paints we've been using up to now. You will also need some oil pastels like this. If you don't have oil pastels, you can also use crayons, but oil pastels would be the best. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to move my elephant out of the way, and today you're not going to have your sketchbook facing this way. Your sketchbook needs to be this way so we can draw the elephant in a portrait manner. And what I want you to do is to fold your piece of paper in half, and then take a ruler, find the center of your page and divide the page in two in that direction as well. So you should have 4 spaces on your piece of paper. Try and draw the line light because you're going to rub it out later. Now this is a very simple grid method. A grid method is when you break your page into sections so you can place the parts of the thing that you're drawing more accurately, and it helps you to fill the page. So we're going to draw our elephant in pencil first, just in case we make a mistake or if we need to change anything. And in fact, we'll be rubbing out parts of the elephant as we go along. So first of all, I'm going to ask you to draw the head shape. So you need to start quite close to the top of the page, and you need to come around in a curved shape nearly to the bottom of the page and up in the middle. Okay? Then you're going to add a line inside, so you're going to draw across here, and this is going to make the trunk of the elephant, and the trunk gets wider, so you have a thin part at the front and then it gets wider. You're then going to add the shape of the elephant, which got the mouth of the elephant, which goes right up to the middle of the page. Now you can see now how the grid method helps you to use all of the space on your page. Okay, we're now going to think about the leg of the elephant. Now the leg starts from the mouth section and it slightly curves round and down, and then a flat part, and then you're going to go up, and just before the middle line you're going to make his belly curve down like that. Okay, so we have one more thing that I forgot, is you're going to draw his body coming up in the second part of the grid. So we have the basic elephant shape. Now what we need to do is add the tusks and the ear as detail. So the tusks come out of his mouth here just by the trunk, and they go across the elephant's trunk. And as we've got only one side of the elephant, you'll only see one of the tusks, sorry. And then the ear starts just before the middle line, just below the top of the elephant, and it curves round, overlapping the top of the elephant and filling half of that second box. Okay, so we have a basic elephant shape. Now what we need to do is rub out some of the lines that overlap. You can see the trunk coming through when you want to see the tusk there. You can see the body of the elephant coming through when all you want to see is the ear. So I'm going to get my rubber and rub out those parts. So Year 3, I'm just going to rub out the line of the trunk that is showing through the tusk, and I'm going to rub out the line of the body that is showing through the ear. There we are, okay. Now the next stage is to take a black oil pastel and just to draw right round the shape of the elephant. Now I'm using the side of the oil pastel. If you use it flat, it will come out to, in fact you always use the side of your oil pastel when you're drawing. So take your time to neatly cover and define all of those lines. Okay, right the way around. Now, oil pastels, if you rub your hand in them, they can get really messy and they can make your page dirty. So it's really important when you're using the oil pastel to keep your hand off the page, otherwise you're going to smudge all over the page. Right, now I'm going to add the eye, and when we were doing our sketch of an elephant, we said that the eye is the shape of a human eye, and we want to leave reflection in the middle if we can. So I've left my reflection, and now I'm going to start adding wrinkles, just like we did in our sketch of an elephant. So I'm going to add wrinkles around the eye, underneath the eye. I'm going to add wrinkles on the nose, around the knees of the elephant, and I think I will stop there. In fact, I'll add some wrinkles just here, and now I'm happy. The next stage is to take a white pastel, remember using it on the side, and just to highlight those wrinkles. Whoops, highlight the wrinkles. Now at the moment you can't see those white lines, but when you paint using the watercolours, they will stand out beautifully. There we are. Okay, I'm going to put white wrinkles around the eye too. Okay, now remember, try and keep your hands off the page so you don't get too many smudges. Now, I'm going to add pattern to my elephant now. I'm going to give the elephant a headdress and a blanket, and then add some patterns on his body. So you can use a range of colours. You choose the colours you use. Be careful to hold the page gently so you don't get pastel all over. I'm going to change the colours and add different pattern all over in these sections. And maybe I'll just add some dangly bits coming off the headdress like that. Okay, and I think I'll just add a bit of yellow to brighten it up. Okay, there's my headdress. Now to add the blanket on the back of the elephant. It's going to swoop around. You can't see it all, but you can just see a little section of it, just to give the elephant a bit of colour and to add detail. Okay, and then last of all, I'm going to choose a pink to do a swirly pattern underneath, and to that I'm going to add some zigzags. You decide on your pattern. Okay, the ear as well. I think I will have a spiral shape in the ear. You decide what you want, and then I'm going to make it stand out with a leather colour. And you might want to do some zigzag patterns as well. You decide on the patterns you would like. Okay, so now I'm ready to move on to painting. Okay, Year 3, it's time now to paint our elephant. Now remember, whenever you're painting, you need your test paper to try out your paints. And today, as you remember, we're using watercolour, and we're going to do what we call a wash right over the top of the elephant. So this is what we need to do. For a wash, you need plenty of water. I've got a medium thick brush, And so what I will do is I will dip my brush into the water and add it to the black. Now I want it to be nice and full of water because I want the black to be quite light, a grey colour. So I'm just going to test it. Now you can see adding all the water has made it a nice light grey colour. So here I go. I'm just going to paint in long strokes right over the top of my elephant, and you can see that the designs that I've drawn are clearly visible through the paint. Okay, I'm going to paint right across in nice broad strokes. You might want to do your elephant slightly darker, so if you want a darker finish to your elephant, just add less water. Okay, so long, broad strokes right across your elephant. And then you've created a nice grey colour of your elephant. Okay, I'm going to leave you to finish that off, Year 3, and then we'll start to think about the background. Now, once you've painted the whole of the elephant, you might want to add some darker sections to your elephant. So use less water and just show those darker sections. I'm going to put them where the wrinkles are. I'm going to use less water and just define those sections. Okay? It's up to you to decide where you want to show darker areas of the elephant by adding extra paint. Okay, I'm happy with my elephant now. And now I'm going to think about the background. Now the background, I think I'd like to do a watercolour blue. So clean the brush on the bottom, stroke it and dry it. And now I'm going to use not so much water this time. Let me test the colour. Right, I don't want so much water. There we are. And I'm going to paint across again, all over the background. Remember, if you want a darker colour, add less water to the paint. Remember, you're moving in nice long strokes right across the page. Be careful when you're going around the edge of the elephant so you don't go mix up the colours. Okay, I'm going to leave you to finish that and off, and then we'll come back together. Okay, Year 3, I've painted the background to my elephant a blue colour, but while it's still wet, I'm just going to add some highlights. Highlights are just small lines that help the background to stand out. So I'm going to use a red colour, and I'm just going to add a few highlights around the background to make it slightly more interesting. You can choose any colour you want, but you can see as the paint is wet, it just blends in beautifully to the blue colour. Okay, and so you've got highlights all over the background just to make it more interesting. And I think, Year 3, I am happy. I've added my highlights to my elephant, the darker sections. I've added my highlights to my background. And there we have our finished elephant. So good luck, Year 3. I look forward to seeing your work. Bye for now.